welcome to episode number 2 of the Bewildered Herd. I am, I guess, your host now. I'll identify myself as your host.
When did that happen?
Jose, or Hoser for short. I am joined today by my two wonderful friends, Edgar and Carlos, but I'll let them introduce themselves really quick. Edgar, you want to start?
Yeah, I'm a Bewildered Lamb number 2.
There you go. Now let's go to our third lamb. Introduce yourself, Carlos.
Yeah, so I'm Carlos, and I'm happy to be part of the Bewildered Herd and sit here and chat with y'all for about an hour.
There you go. So we've been bringing these little episodes with a topic in mind that we've each had. Actually, last week it was the goals for this year, and I did say that I was gonna tell you guys before on this episode what my goal is, and I did come up with a goal. Quantitative goal: I want to read 3 books by the beginning of summer. So June 20th, summer officially starts. So my goal is to read 3 books. Let's see how we do, right? So
What kind of books? Like self-help or just fiction?
Yeah, as weird as it sounds, I know Carlos doesn't like that, but I'm a sucker for self-help. I'm a sucker for self-help books. So
I actually think all books are self-help. Like,
yeah,
we might be getting caught on semantics, but
yeah, actually, that's a good point. All right, so today we have a topic that was picked by Mr. Elo himself. So if you want to introduce the topic, and then we'll get the ball rolling.
All right, sir. Yeah, so a little bit about me. I was married. I have a kid. Dating while married was fucked up, and now I'm single, and like I'm recently getting back into dating, and it's as equally as fucked up. So I'm trying to figure out why is dating so hard in the modern world? And I have experienced it both, like married and not married. And I know Jose, you're married. Carlos, you're not. So we're all at kind of like different stages. And I want to see what your experiences are with dating in the modern world. Why you guys think it? Do you agree with me that it's really hard and kind of messed up? And why that is, and then my theories kind of go into like social media to blame. I was reading how things have shifted from like the year 2000. The main way that most people hooked up, either like found their spouse or their partner or whatever, or went on dates, was through other people, like meeting through friends, meeting through hobbies, through work, organizations and stuff like that. And now it has shifted to 90% of couples today meet online through like dating apps or whatever. And and yeah, I've been on the dating apps, and they're very much like social media, you know, like Instagram. You just get your phone and you have like videos, and you can like swipe. Like, oh, I get bored of this one, I just swipe. So yeah, the dating apps are very much like that. Like, you get a profile, and then it's like, do I like it? Swipe right, swipe left, swipe right, swipe left. And in my experience, if I do get swiped on, like I get picked by a girl or whatever, I can go on a conversation, and then like if you say anything wrong, like one little thing, dude, like boom, they could just like instantly like end the conversation and swipe left. Yeah, it's been so bad that like I've had so bad experiences with the chatting online that I'm like, yeah, some people have like hurt my feelings, and then others, like you go on dates and it feels like it's going good, and then they ghost you, dude. Like, just no regard for your feelings, and yeah, I'm just wondering like what is going on. You gotta have like really thick skin to be dating in today's modern society, and that's just like from the being single side. I could talk about the when I was married side and how hard it was to go on dates. One, because of like the childcare.
can you clarify
2,
that?
what?
Like, being married and going out on dates, like, what does that mean? Like, you were married, but the relationship was over and you were seeking to date other people?
No, no, I'm talking about like when I was in a married relationship, like Hoser is right now.
Like dating your wife. I think that's
Yeah,
what he
like
means. Right.
I think it's important that you, while you're married, you should go on dates.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, that's a good point. I thought I was like, I thought you
No,
were
no,
like on
no,
the
no.
app while the relationship was ending.
No, no, I'm talking about like I mean I think it's important that like even you and your spouse go out and have like alone time, like a
Yeah,
date.
and that was hard too.
Fuck yeah, that shit was hard.
Why? I mean, I've never been married, right?
Like other priorities take over. Like you don't make time for you take it for granted. Like oh I mean I see her right now. Like we could just watch a movie right or like um or yeah or there's like things to do like oh no we gotta I don't know man there was always like something to do like oh we gotta do repairs on the house or um
I mean,
getting sick.
but what is it? At the end of the day, is it like that both your priorities, yours and hers, aligned in such a way that, like, I don't know, leaving your child with someone and you two going off and having a fun night somewhere was just
It wasn't
not.
worth. Yeah, it was just like too much hassle. Like, we'll just watch a movie right here. But that shit is not like quality time, dude. Like, I see the dates that I go on now, like they're quality because I get ready for the date. I'm like mentally prepared to be chatty. I put like way more effort, right? And I feel like yeah, I probably should have done that more when we were married.
That's where I was gonna go to. So like, in hindsight, things are really clear, right? Because you lived through it, you've gotten some experience, and in hindsight, we have 2020. So
Yeah,
that would have been something that you recommend to someone who's married to do, and something that you would have liked to do yourself, or
yeah, but that's easier said than like I knew that, dude. When I was married, we knew that. We're like, man, we like really need to go on dates, but it's just hard. And that this is getting to my theory side of so for the married people, why is it hard? And I think it just has to do with like today's modern society that is messed up. I think, and I see other cultures. Like I was talking to one of my coworkers, and she is
Muslim.
somewhere in the Middle East.
She's Muslim.
Um, I don't know Muslim. No, she's Catholic, but I don't know from like what area. Anyways, my point is that like in other cultures, I think it's kind of like how it used to be, where like you're part of a tribe, and
Hmm.
and like your kid doesn't. Yeah, they belong to you, but they belong to the tribe too. And like you got your cousins, your parents, your friends. Like everybody's kind of like helping you out, and you're and they would like hang out with like friends all the time, dude. Like I would ask her like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? It's like, oh, we got a party. We got like hanging out with friends. We're hosting friends. They're hosting us. I'm like, damn, what about your kids? Like, oh, but they have kids. Like everybody just hangs out, dude. Like, or like their parents would help out. They had like, anyways, it was like a tribe mentality that it belongs to the tribe. But I think in this Americanized society, like we've become like the individual is promoted and important, right? It's
Yeah, I agree.
like two. I don't think it was ever meant to be like two people take care of fucking like three, four kids. Like that shit's so hard. Taking care of one kid is hard, man. Um, even if you don't have kids, I imagine like Poser probably has a bunch of fucking priorities that like you don't even know why you have these
Yeah,
priorities. But
yeah. That
but anyways, like I
it does take it.
never think that we live in a messed up society that has become so like individualized that like you don't go see like you don't go. I mean, we were talking about our friend earlier. Like I think that dude needs help. Like help, like more resources to help him out, and he'll be like less stressed, more happy. But yeah, like something about this society just makes us not seek that help and like be individualized.
But some
Right?
people, some people are the opinion that U.S. society as a whole is like detrimental for mental health. The way it operates, the way we live, the way we work, the way we commute, and they're like, I'd rather go live in fucking Mexico or somewhere in Central America or Africa, fucking anywhere but the U.S. because, like you're saying, there's something fucked up with it. And I think going back to the point that you were mentioning about your friend and how she or he is part of a tribe, I think that's what we should aspire to.
Yeah.
I think that that would make us feel less alone and more connected and to pay more attention to things that matter in life.
I think the way we handle the concept of dating and um of dating and spouses and partners here in the Western world, I think it is um a little bit off. No, not a little bit. It's off. I don't think it's right. I think we were meant to be in community. I think we were meant to be in like a group. I think that a lot of times when we're married, um, the easiest thing to do is to isolate ourselves. It's simple, right? You're dealing with all your problems, and then you're tired, and you're like, I don't want to do it. And it is. You kind of get to you forget what you're meant to do with your spouse, and you start focusing on other things that you think are important. For example, like dating, right? You forget about that, and you go about with what you think is important. For example, buying a house or stuff like that. The cool thing is that now apps can do that, and technology can help with that. The bad thing is it makes it really disposable, and I think that's the
Wait,
problem with today's
did you say
dating.
technology can help with that?
No, I said it makes it cool. Hold on. I think it makes it cool how you can reach more people, right? But the negative thing is that the concept of swiping left, swiping right, it just makes it disposable, right? It makes someone say, "I don't want it." Like if it was a shoe or something, like if it was something that I could throw away, like oh, it's this water bottle. Nah, I don't want this water. Boom, I can just slowly throw it away, right? In the same way, we kind of made that happen, and in a way, I think that's kind of what Carlos was. I agree with what Carlos was saying. It messes up with your mental health, because then one side sees the way we date today in society as something disposable, but the counterpart sees it as there's hurt in there, right? Like, oh, I'm hurting. They hurt my feelings. How dare you, messing up your mental health? So I agree. Yeah, dating right now it is not cool, but I think we just need to but it is a different way to do it. I mean, I think today's world, the youth, they know how to handle that. But it's kind of, to my point of view, I don't think it's a very sustainable one.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's a tool, right? Like
It
going to
is,
your most
yeah,
primitive tool, like a hammer. You could use a hammer for something useful, or you could use a hammer to fuck someone up, right?
mm-hmm.
And that goes with technology in general. And so it's not the only tool out there, right? Like, fucking man, what happened to the fucking old-fashioned way to meet people? Face to face, through mutual
Yeah,
contacts, through
yeah,
expanding your friend network, through fucking, I don't know, going in a bar, reading a book, and I don't know, whatever, dude, like joining a gym, or there's like a bunch of ways to do it that doesn't need to involve that. Easier said than done when the majority of people expect to meet someone on app. But it just depends how and what you want to do. But there's another interesting aspect of what you mentioned in your intro remarks, social media in general. I think this is connecting it from my vantage point to the bewildered herd, is that the economic system in which we currently live in has mutated. Before, people would understand the economic framework in which we operated in, and they called it neoliberal. And that roughly involved like three components: privatize as much as you can, cut social costs as much as possible, and let the market take care of it, right? And a very salient example of this is like Reaganomics. Reagan, Reagan, Thatcher, that's when the neoliberal era began. Well, now it mutated. Now our economics are driven by the social media companies, by, Meta, Apple, Google, and I'm missing another fucker. Oh yeah, Musk, X, right? And their source of power comes from having certainty about us, information about us, and with that information, essentially trying to predict our choices and selling and betting those predictions on the fucking market, right? So it's like a rogue mutation of neoliberalism that necessitates extraction of your information. And there's been, experiments in which they basically go and depress people. Meta famously did that back in the day. And so, to cut to the chase, the argument I'm going to say now, I read on a book by this lady named Shoshana Zuboff or something, Zuboff. She is at Harvard Business School. She basically said that our economic system today poses a threat to human nature in just the way that industrial capitalism posed a threat to ecosystems and to the biosphere. You know how industrial capitalism necessitated extractivism from natural resources to build industry? So he makes an analogy that our current form of capitalism requires our lived experience to be scraped and to be turned into data for these companies to be able to nudge us, edit our behavior, and essentially pose a threat to what human nature is. That's a long ramble on basically why social media sucks. So, you know,
So
Oh,
so
what do you guys think of the? We're kind of going in different directions. We'll go back to dating, but what do you guys think of the ban on TikTok and now? I think I heard like Trump is not gonna ban it anymore. Um, but what is your guys' opinion on that?
piggyback on that whole fucking argument I just made. It's kind of for show because I don't know what they're leveling against TikTok, but everyone operates that way, right? Google, Apple, Facebook, they all need your information. They all store your information. They all make predictions with your information. What's the thing about TikTok? That it's supposedly
Uh,
Chinese?
yeah, the difference is that like who gets your information? It's like the U.S. or China, right? So yeah, the argument they were saying was like we don't want China getting that information because we don't know what they're gonna do with it, so we're gonna ban it.
What do you think they're gonna do with it? The same thing that fucking Facebook and Google do with their information here.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
not to go down a different way, but I don't know. I mean, I
What
don't
would
think
you
so.
think they do with it?
Well, they have different interests than us, right? You
Like
said
what?
an economic. Okay, so I don't think the Eastern countries have an interest just in the economics of things, right? I
Sure, I
think
agree. My point is that if China were to consider me a threat to their national security, I'd be very flattered, right? Like, which American are they going to say, like, this fucking American is a threat to our national
no, but
security?
No,
yeah,
I think it's more like kind of like what Russia did with elections, like election meddling and kind
I,
of
yeah,
destabilizing a country. You guys have
Okay,
never seen
yeah.
that movie?
Right, exactly.
okay.
Like
Leave the
what
World
Edgar
Behind.
said.
But that is plain hypocrisy. Take any fucking country in the Southern Hemisphere and tell me if the United States hasn't meddled in its election.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, but it's like I'm picking on a third grader. Like, ooh, guess who knows all your stuff? And then here's a person who's like, now, I thought I was dealing with a middle schooler, but the middle school ends up being 7 feet tall. And I'm like, and this guy's smarter than me, and he's becoming a genius. I think it's different, dude.
So Jose, you're against the wait, you're for the ban, right?
No,
What the hell? You were arguing.
no, o sea,
Okay, everybody vote right now. Jose, are
like,
you
no, hold
for
on,
or against it?
I'm against it,
I'm against it, but for
but I'm
different
a,
reasons than you
but I'm
guys.
for different reasons, exactly.
What about you, Carlos?
Yeah, I'm against it. I mean, if you're going to ban TikTok, then ban Meta. Ban,
See,
Instagram.
and to me, I'm like, if you ban it, I'm like, you're an idiot because now it's like a kid. If a dad tells his daughter, don't go out with that guy, what is she gonna do? I'm gonna go out with him. So what are they gonna say? Don't use that app. Oh, really?
Yeah, I for me it's just like anti-democratic. I think it's like unprecedented. That's some shit China would do. Is like, nah, you can't go on that website. You can't go on that app. But with that said, like, I'm sure fucking Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are like, fuck yeah, like let's ban them, right? There's other high players that have interest in this because they will benefit from banning them.
And then also, I mean, like Carlos said, like the economic side of things. No one of these guys, the from the American industries, they don't have the popularity that these guys have. So it's like, put a pause on them so I can catch up, and then you can unban them. And
What do you mean? Who do you mean is the popular ones?
well,
Oh,
for
like
example, like
Instagram and
Instagram or
yeah, like Musk,
like Twitter.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah,
Yeah, like they're not as popular as like
they're
TikTok.
not as
So
popular as that.
Really?
Every Instagram reel is a TikTok reel. Think
Really?
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so they
But
have a
see,
lot of
I don't
views.
know because like, and here's full disclosure: I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on Facebook,
Yeah, that's
and
good.
definitely not on TikTok, and definitely not on X, and definitely not on that nerd shit, Mastodon, whatever.
Okay,
This was
that's
making
what
shit
the.
up now.
I've never heard of that. I don't know you.
Yeah.
See? There you
Well,
go.
he's with the kids, man. He hangs out with the youth. Mastodon. I should look that up. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. So actually, let me ask you that. Let me ask you a question, and then we'll segue back to Edgar's original topic. How long have you been without social media?
Basically, since we left college. I mean,
How
you guys,
how have you?
one of you made a Facebook for me. I don't forget. I don't know who it was. One of you or someone made a Facebook for me,
I think
and that's
I
how I
don't
got a
know. It
Facebook.
was. Yeah. I think it was Edgar. No,
I don't remember.
is it Edgar or me? Yeah, it was one of us two.
Yeah.
But
Man,
how have you felt without it?
How I
Like have
felt?
you like do you fear that FOMO, that fear of missing out? Like, oh, did
Hell
you see
no,
this
man.
video?
The other day I went on it and I saw a picture of a mutual friend who I will not name, but it was his family, right? He has a daughter and a dog. And it was like picture perfect family with, daughter, dog, a lake. And to me, I was just like, I haven't talked to you in years, and now I see this. It's like, okay, cool. Like, whatever. Like, it's just like people selecting clips of their life that they
Mm-hmm.
deem to be picture worthy and posting it up on there. And
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah, I agree.
creates in you this feeling of like, well, my life sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking. I don't have a dog and a daughter and next to this placid lake and like smiling with a tooth to tooth smile, and the wife is just. And so why like that shit's. It's part of their lived experience, but it's not their whole lived experience. And you get this feeling that people's life is just so much better than you based on what they post online. And I just
it's like
find that so
the
stupid.
the iceberg analogy, right? Like you're seeing like the top
Yeah,
percent, but you don't
yeah,
see like everything else, and
yeah.
yeah, it makes it not real, dude. It sucks because I was not on it, Jose. Remember for like years, see what gets the way,
Yeah.
same as Carlos, but through back to dating, I was forced to like almost literally forced to go back on it because of that reason that like
Right, because
nowadays like
everyone's in it,
guys like,
right?
well, let me get your Instagram, like but my Instagram sucks. Like I haven't posted on it. Like so now I have to put this fake. It's not fake. It's like me, but like my top pictures, right? But it's all bullshit, dude. Like I put my Japan pictures. I did some like modeling shots. I was like, fuck, man, this is what I have to do to like get dates. I'm not even joking, dude. Like it's
Yeah.
so hard to get dates, dude. The girls go out with like the top fucking like 10% of the guys. And you have to like put like really good pictures, otherwise you get like low matches. It's already been like discussed multiple times through research and all that, but it's like, fuck, this is what I gotta do.
Why are you playing that game, man? You're choosing to participate in it.
That's kind of what it.
Cause I told you guys from the last episode, you are playing Monopoly, dude. You're in the you're living
Right.
in the U.S. You have to play
Right.
the game.
Right. But that's if you want
You don't
to.
have to, man. Like I don't think I've ever met anyone like the way you're describing it, right? And I've been, right? And
You were the fuck you talking about, dude? You were on the apps.
I was.
I saw your
yeah.
pictures.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
They were
was.
good
was.
pictures.
But I didn't have an Instagram. I didn't like link it, Like it's just like I'm a weirdo, and
Yeah.
whoever swipes on me is fucking weird.
That what he said. I'm a weirdo. In a way, it's kind of like I believe that we're in the older crowd now. Like we're almost 40. You know.
Oh
I,
yeah, you go
I,
out with older chicks. Try going out with like a fucking like 30-year-old dude.
right. But I think in those apps, like if you really put out there like I'm a weirdo, like in your own way, right?
Yeah.
That's what you really want to like sell, right? You don't want to sell what oh, I'm this, oh, I can play this, oh, I once went here. Like no, I'm this weirdo. I think about politics in this way. I think about society this way. I love investing. This is how I do it. Believe it or not, take it or leave it. Because I think that's if we go back to the economic side, that's what you're selling, in a way, to your partner.
It's you.
And that's you. That's
Yeah.
really you. Now, I know what you're saying.
Wait,
You're not
Jose, are
gonna
you
get a
saying
lot of
to put this
matches.
on the apps, or what do you like?
Yeah,
what are you saying?
yeah, on the
Nah,
apps.
dude, that shit doesn't work, man.
Okay.
You forget that there's an algorithm, and it
Yes.
rewards you or punishes you based on like who's clicking on you.
Yes, but then it's like, who do you want? Which type of partner do you want to click? Do you want Debbie Q, who's from ASU, just recent graduate, to click on your on your profile,
All
or
right,
do
dude,
you?
let me paint a picture for you. If you were a girl, and let's say you're like a 7, you're like, you're good looking. You know how many fucking like likes?
25.
Nah, dude, it's in the hundreds to thousands a day.
Yeah, but see,
If you're like a
Okay.
model, dude, you'll get like thousands a day.
but that's a model.
Now,
You're not a model,
imagine,
though.
okay, so this girl gets like hundreds, right? And now she's going through it and like, okay, there's this fucking hot guy. What's that song? You guys have heard that song, right? I want a guy in finance, I have blue eyes, trust fund. Have you guys ever heard that song?
No. What the fuck are you listening to?
It's a parody on like modern dating, dude. Like what? Like these girls get so many likes that they could select like whoever the fuck they want, man.
Sure. Look, I relate to your experience. I have a friend. It's a white dude. I don't have a lot of white friends. I have like 2 white friends. One of my white friends is in India, postdoc in physics. This other guy I met playing soccer, right? He showed me his dating app. It had about 700 likes. And I was
Damn.
just like, why? Like, what do you do? And he's like, yeah, dude, like, so many hot girls, like, which one? That's not helpful for him either. You know?
No, it creates narcissism and
Yeah.
like a false sense of like an inflated ego, dude. Like
Yeah. So
it
in a
goes
way, I
back to
pity him.
creating that like expendable. Like I could pick whoever,
Yeah.
right?
So if I had to choose 2 or 3 likes versus 700, I'd go with 2 to 3. Personally.
Yeah, because
Maybe
those
you
are
want 700.
more accurate.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing. It's like, what do you want to get out of those apps? What do you want to get out of dating, for example? If you just want to get to know people,
And then there's also tiers of apps, right? Like there's an app for people with like a certain level of education, with a certain level of income, with a certain university under their belt. And then there's like Tinder, right?
right? Or even I think I've heard that some of those apps, like, they have like a paid version. So I'll probably, if you pay, they'll probably get you better. Like they'll give you like better results. I mean,
I think I just conclude that like the whole thing sucks, dude. Like that's not a natural.
Nah, I disagree. You can't look at anything that way, right? Like nothing, very few things are going to be either black or white. There's shades of gray, right? There are some convenient things. So just having this and,
What is good about it? There's
What's
nothing
good about it?
no, convenient.
There's no pressure. Women don't feel pressured like when you talk to them, right? Like they have the control of deciding whether they want to potentially have a conversation with you or not.
Versus like if the old school way of like just going up to them and bothering them or whatever.
Yeah, but I think there's something to say about that. That's a skill that people don't have, especially the younger generation, right? Like if you have the confidence and the wherewithal to strike up a conversation with someone, and like in a setting in which that's permissible, maybe expected, a lot of women would probably find that attractive.
Like, can you imagine, dude, when your kid is older and you're at a party and you tell them, hey, look at that girl, go talk to her, and he's like,
Dude, you know what the response would be for that generation is like, all right, let me do it. Let me bust on my phone and let me get her. Okay, I did it. I contacted her. Instead of like going to. That's what I foresee, dude, in the future.
And then they're all sad, like, what happened? She left me on red.
Yeah.
Oh, she blocked me.
Actually,
I
guarantee you, that's how
one
the
of
future is.
the things my wife and I were talking about is how weird it is for like the younger generation right now. if they don't want to talk to you, they just block you. Blocked.
Yeah, that shit's fucked up, man.
Yeah. But you know what? To the younger generation, that's normal. And we're like, what? Like that? Like my wife and I were like, that's interesting. That's very weird. And they're like, look, she unblocked me. Yeah. And I'm like, what the heck, dude?
I mean, I connect this back to that whole thing I said about this new phase of capitalism in which we're living in, that human nature is at stake, right? Like, if we're not going to have the skills to be able to talk to strangers that we could potentially find interesting as mates, what kind of humans are we going to be? Are we going to be banging cyborgs or what?
I don't doubt that, dude. I think yeah, I think we're like heading towards
Now,
like we were talking about being isolated. Like we're gonna be even fucking more isolated, dude. Like,
and so
marriage is 50-50 right now. Like in the future, it's probably gonna be like, dude, if you're like still together, fuck yeah, you're like in the top fucking 10%.
And honestly, I think the pandemic didn't help. It didn't help any of this.
Yeah, wait for the next one. But I like to be a little bit more optimistic, even though I already threatened the next pandemic. What was I gonna say? There's opportunity, man. There's opportunity for humans to be humans. Like, I think there's always going to be humans that refuse to let go of that aspect of themselves, right? And remember, we're in the United States. It's a great country for a lot of liberties and freedoms that people elsewhere don't enjoy, but it's also very consumerist heart, right? I think the biggest freedom we have in the United States is to do with their money as you see fit. And if you don't have money, well, sucks. So, you know.
And I think, again, like this podcast is called the Bewildered Herd. And one of the things that Carlos mentioned during the last episode was, how do we get out of that herd, right? And I think that point, when it comes to, especially for you, for the dating world, is to make sure you're not isolated and make sure, you kind of go counter towards what today's society is telling you how dating should work. They say the algorithm and it should go, you have to model, you have to pose a certain way. Well, you say, no, let me be, like Carlos said, weird,
No,
let me be that weirdo.
I don't know about the app, like, but I think I like his point of like, yeah, maybe I should join more, forget about dating, it's like join more, because it's kind of hard to, like, in college, we had a lot of access to the opposite sex, right? Like, there was so many girls, and it was, like, normal to go up to them in a social setting or whatever. But like now, like where am I gonna meet them, right? So I think that's where I gotta like join groups and stuff.
The other thing is, I think, and this is what I think the type of girls that you want to meet, right, or the type of opposite partners you want to meet, right? If you want to meet young, wild, and free, go to Pacific Beach. But no offense, but I think the way, I don't even know if Pacific Beach is still even the spot anymore, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think now we can't do what we did when when you were younger. If you're gonna date, you kind of have to, like, still add how you used to do it, but then add a little different taste.
Yeah, like maybe volunteering in person somewhere with other people there. Like start learning a dance. Like salsa, bachata, like.
Yeah, see, but then that's not different than like me posting for Instagram. It's like, fuck, I'm just doing some shit that I don't want to do just to go meet girls. Like, I gotta do some, maybe like co-ed soccer. That's what I'm thinking. Like, okay, there'll be girls, exactly. But I like doing that, right?
Right. Do what you are interested in doing.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys are right. Like, we're trying to break out of the herd. Then yeah, it is to like try to do the stuff that nowadays is weird, which is like meeting people in person and like
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, most of the times, wet your finger and like feel which way the wind is blowing. Go counter to that. If you find yourself, this is my opinion, if you find yourself doing what a lot of people are doing, shit, man, something might be off. My opinion, personally.
Hey, we didn't hear Hoser's like, how's your dating shit going? Actually, I didn't hear about yours either, Carlos. Totally about
mine. I mean, I can start. So yeah, I've been married. Actually, it's gonna be 9 years. 9 years at the end of this month of marriage.
Yeah, you better know how long and when.
I thought it was 10, but I was like, no, wait, because we're so close. But it's been good. Yes, I agree. It's hard. It's really hard. And it's hard because it's like you gotta bring two minds that are completely different to a common goal. And that's already hard. Even if it's not your partner, like just doing that. Yeah, dating has been hard, but I think dating evolves into something different as your relationship goes. So if before a movie and dinner was the ideal date night, today it's a movie and Legos. As weird as it sounds, like you're like, what? Yeah, like that's how it is now. Because at the end of the day, you just don't you can't lose like what kind of brings you together. Like that friendship you guys originally started with and had it blossom into
So
your
how
loving
often?
relationship.
I mean, what? Okay, but what's the difference between like Monday through Friday? At the end of the day, you guys are just hanging out watching a movie versus like an actual date. And then how often are you going on dates? Would you say?
Well, so so I think it also depends on what we're defining as a date and what we consider like like
Quality time. Like
quality
how
time.
much quality time are you spending with them?
Yeah, I think almost daily. I mean, there are days when it doesn't, when we don't, and that's hard. I mean, I'll tell you this: last year was really hard for that, and you can feel it. But I think kind of like Carlo was saying with the wind, like when you kind of feel it, it's kind of like a wave taking you. And I think for us, especially as guys, it's so easy to just go with it, right? Like, because I think in nature we kind of like we want what's easier, right? We like to solve problems to get them done. That's it. So if she's not getting mad today, meh, I'll just let go. But it's like, no, we have to go counter to that. I think, like I said, I think the quality of the date changes, and I think it takes both of us to kind of understand that it changed. You can't have one partner say a real good date is me going to the movies, and dinner. Like you can't keep that up forever, and that's hard. That's hard because you don't realize how quick that changes. So, but yeah, but I mean, it is hard because of all the priorities you have. And it kind of goes back to the bewildered herd, right? We want to upkeep a certain type of like. There's some mindset that we think we should have, right? Like a nice house, like in order for us to believe that we're not in that herd, right? We need to have a house, we need to have this, we need to have the kids, need to have this. But in reality, it's like no, no, no. Even if we don't have that, that's okay. One day we'll get it. But for right now, let's enjoy us right now. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think it takes both of you to kind of understand that it can't just be you.
Yeah.
You too, Carlos?
It's the same, man. It's a struggle. But like when you realize that it's a struggle, that it's going to be difficult either way, you pick and choose your battles, right? Sometimes work is really heavy for her, sometimes really heavy for me, sometimes for both of us, mostly for both of us. But then every now and then you say, fuck it. Like recently, we took a trip on the train about an hour and a half to this small ass town that we've never been to. It was fucking freezing, and it's a dead town. It was crazy. Like a lot of businesses closed, and it's called Poughkeepsie. It's about an hour and a half ride north of New York City. But we found this like Mexican restaurant that tortilleria Alani, something like that. It was really good food. And it was just like a little getaway.
Mm-hmm.
And we took the Hudson line, saw the Hudson River, it was fucking parts of it were frozen. And, I'm not saying it's like this every time, right? We definitely have like low scaled versions of that, of like she has something to do that's close to where I am. And we coordinate and we go and we have ramen or something, And we go to the movies every now and then, and we like going to bookstores every now and then. But most of the time, it is like the usual. Let's have dinner together. Let's watch some TV we both enjoy, and call it a night. But it's ultimately, I think, bringing it back to something I also mentioned is like being mindful of the present moment, and that's only what we have, right? And what we choose to make of that moment, and to try to be on the same wavelength as our partner, right? And her and I are kind of the same type of weird in how we see things. So we match pretty well like that. But it's always going to be a struggle. I don't think it's ever going to be easy for anyone. I don't think you're going to find anyone that is just like, oh, this is so easy. Like we're just on the same wavelength and shit just flows and there's no problems. There's no such thing as perfection.
Yeah, yeah,
And so it goes again just because of the way we live, right? Like
that's the thing.
work.
I think with dating right now, like it's a struggle in any relationship, boyfriend girlfriend. I think there is struggle in there, and I think in today's society we don't want struggle. So that's why it's so easy to just swipe left, swipe right. Oh, you know what?
Oh
I don't
yeah,
want to
yeah,
be
I
with you.
agree with that one too.
I don't want to. I don't want to deal with you.
And you can
And
encounter like a little the speed bump is like, ah, fuck this shit. I got like 100 options.
exactly. And so that's why it's like, in a way, it's kind of like you don't want someone like that. You don't want to even share a friendship with someone like that. Because imagine you're not perfect. The moment you mess up, what what are you gonna expect? They're just gonna be like, ugh, there you go again, haters. You know? And
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
what happened
dude.
to me with the last. I mean, I guess she was like my girlfriend situationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we like went exclusive for for like a month or two, and she was like, yeah, we're not gonna be on the apps anymore. And then she fucking like dumped me for another guy. I was like, what the hell? I thought we were like exclusive. It's like, well, he just reached out to me on Instagram, and then we started talking. So, oh, but but I
And
got
see,
lucky that she told me. There's other girls where like I click and we like hit it off and we're connected and whatnot, like physically and emotionally, and then like for no reason just ghosted, dude. Like
Okay, that comment you said makes me go back to I think comment Hoser said that you have to have a thick skin, or maybe it was you.
I said
oh,
that,
he said
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
yeah. So you said the thick skin part. So that's true, man. Like you gotta be really wary of like who you let in and when, right? Especially if you're having these types of experiences with like ladies who are just like not reaching back to you and just like, fucking leaving you for someone else, then maybe the apps aren't the place to meet someone right now.
yeah,
You.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That I think
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what cause yeah, we're supposed to leave the audience with like how to get out of the herd, and I think you're right. It's like yeah, I think just do it like old school. Maybe I should pay money to join groups
Yeah.
and do that instead.
Yeah. I think it's
Or
someone.
forget the paying money, man. Just go volunteer. I'm sure well, here in New York,
Or
there's
yeah,
like volunteer organizations that have as an undercurrent, like, oh, you'll meet people.
yeah, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And so if someone's going through what you're going through, like and feeling the same way with these dating apps, I think the best thing would be get out of them. Like they're not working for you. They're
Yeah,
hurting you. They're hurting you more than they're actually benefiting you, right? I
yeah,
mean, look. I mean, look at you, Edgar. Like you're kind of like dating sucks. Like no, 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 no. Dating can be some of the most awesome time in the world, right? It makes you feel butterflies. It makes you
yeah.
excited, right?
Well, this shit
And
makes you
so,
feel jaded, dude.
right, exactly. And so it's like don't let these apps jade you for
Yeah,
their.
and it makes the other people jaded too. Like there was this one girl I was
Yeah.
talking to. I'll give you an example. Like I was checking my messages and she got mad that I didn't get back to her in like within 24 hours. And then she went on this rant of like how lucky I was that she even like swiped right on me and that like yeah that I was really lucky that like if she were to decide to go out on a date with
Now,
me. And
now
then I
here.
started saying like man this is a red flag. It's like you know what like I don't think we should meet. Dude, that's the one that like cussed me out afterwards. I was like what the fuck? It's like damn
Isn't
man.
that weird? The type of people that are out there.
Yeah,
Like
but she was a professional, dude. She was like this, like pretty high up, school, like in a school setting, taking care of kids and whatnot, like with a master's degree. But I was like, yeah, she's probably been on those apps like too long, man. That's some jaded shit, dude.
they're
For a
talking to
professional
her.
to say shit like that, like
Yeah,
what the hell?
they're taking care of our kids and they're acting like that.
Pretty like intelligent people acting like that. I was like, fuck, man.
Homeschool your kids, yo. No, but for reals, man. Like I think if it's not working, it's not working, and I think the methods you kind of know, like in community, like Carlos said with volunteering. I think you should give those a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe a cycling club
I
or
think
something.
we to like wrap this shit up is like yeah, social media is not good. Fucking, there's too much mixture of the fake world with the virtual world with the real world, and people that are on there are like getting jaded. And I think it's probably best to go old school, tribe, community, go out and like live in the real world.
Yeah, and then to connect this to something you've said about how good it is for our mental health to help others, right? Like through volunteering and
Yeah.
to meet people maybe through there. You know, like you said this maybe last time, right? It feels really good to do something of that's going to be helping someone. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah, it's
Uh,
it's really hard to do your thing and to be connected, but I think it's a struggle that's worth having.
hmm. Kind of
Yeah,
like,
because at the end of the day, like even if you don't meet somebody, like you did something good, right? You'll
Yeah.
still feel good about it.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Coolio.
Cool, man. So don't get discouraged. And for anyone listening, don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. There's someone out there. I believe it. As of right now, that's it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much. This was an awesome topic to talk about, and yeah, let's keep this ball rolling. All right.
See you
So
next time.
for everyone watching, see y'all later. Peace.